Guys, I made another 3x3 piston door, but this isn't any 3x3 piston door. This is a spiral 3x3 piston door. So as you guys saw from the intro, if you just hit that lever, it opens in a nice spiral form, and if you hit it once again, as you can see, it closes nice and like that spiral thing. This definitely isn't the fastest 3x3 piston door I made. There's a couple others that are much faster. Link down in the description and hopefully on screen if I remember. As you can see, the redstone for this is not that huge. It's only 2 blocks wide, as you can see here, and then it's just like my other 3x3 piston doors, where it just comes down a couple extra blocks. I think I did a really nice job with compacting this to some extent. I mean, it's not super compact like my HIPSTER door. You should go check it out. It's amazing. It's linked in the description and on the screen. But I think this does look super cool, and I probably will be building this in a survival world sometime because it just looks so cool. And then as far as how it works, it's pretty much just like any other 3x3 piston doors, except that on the side here, there's repeaters so that this piston powers first, and then this piston 2 ticks later, and then this piston 1 tick later, and then this piston 2 ticks later, then this piston 2 ticks later, and then this piston down here 2 ticks later, and then this piston here 2 ticks later also. And then the bottom circuitry here is pretty much the same for every 3x3 piston door. It just pushes the block up one, and then this piston pushes the block aside, and then it pushes them both up. Okay guys, so I just removed all the extra blocks, and as you can see, if we just hit that lever, you can see how this circuit works, and if we hit it once again, you can see how it works. So let's see how to build this. Okay guys, so how you're going to want to build this is you're going to need to collect all the items in my inventory so you can see them all right here. You can just pause the video. So the first thing what you're going to want to do is place a dropper facing sideways with a hopper running into that. And then you want to take a comparator output from that and run that into a block. And then have a repeater out like that running into redstone dust. And you just want to place redstone dust around like this, with a repeater set to 4 ticks, and then that just running into a block with a redstone torch on the other side of that, so that it is powering that observer. And then you're going to want to place any random block in that dropper. And then what you're going to want to do is place 3 more pieces of redstone dust going outwards, running into a block with a redstone torch on top of that block, and another block on top of that with another redstone torch on top of that. Then another block on top of that redstone torch with redstone dust. And then you're going to want to place a block beside that redstone dust, so just like that. And then a block beside that bottom redstone torch, and place a repeater set to 4 ticks on the bottom one. And then on the top one, you don't need to place anything. And then you're going to want to place a block after that repeater, and then a block under that block like that. And I did not mean to break that, so you're just going to need to place that back like that. And then you're going to place redstone dust on that bottom block, and a repeater just set to 1 tick on the top block. That repeater needs to be going into a block, and then you're going to want to place a block under that one, so just like this, with a repeater set to 4 ticks on that block there. And then you're going to want to place 2 sticky pistons. The first one beside that bottom block, and then another one right on top of that with a block on top of those 2. And then next to the bottom piston, you're going to place a block there. The repeater set to 4 ticks, and then beside that, you're going to place an observer facing downwards with redstone dust on top of that. And that observer needs to be going into a block, and a block under that bottom sticky piston. And then just a block above that repeater with redstone dust, not a redstone torch. Redstone dust, just like that. Then you want to place a block beside the observer and a block up like that. You can delete that one, just like that. And then that's going to be your input, so you can just place your lever on the side of that. And then you want to place a block to the side here with a repeater set to 4 ticks. And then you want to have that repeater going into a block with redstone dust on top of that, and then that block on top of that repeater, and then a repeater on top of that just set to 2 ticks. And then you're going to want to place a sticky piston on top of that redstone dust beside that repeater set to 2 ticks with a block right there. So now you should have this whole bottom part done. So if you flick that lever, the block should go up like that. Then when you flick it once again, that first one should be pulled back. Then what you're going to want to do is place a block under that repeater set to 4 ticks beside that lever, just like that, with redstone dust on top of that. Then you're going to place a redstone torch on the side of that with a block there beside that dropper with redstone dust, and then that should send a pulse to that double piston extender. So as you can see, if you just hit that lever, blocks pop up like that, and then it will be retracted just like that. Now what you're going to want to do is place 3 sticky pistons facing inwards up on top of that repeater on top of that lever, or like beside that lever, and then same thing on this side, but you're going to want to place the first one on top of that block on this side, and there's 3 like that. Then you place blocks on all of their faces just like this, and then another block up, and then just go across just like this, and then you want to place a block on this one side like that, delete those blocks, go down, place a sticky piston facing downwards with a block on there, and you can just delete that block there. Then beside that piece of redstone dust, you're going to place a block up like that, and then a block beside that just like that with a repeater just set to 1 tick, and that should be running into a block. And then you want to place redstone dust on top of that block, and then a block on top of that repeater with redstone dust, and then you're going to want to get your glass, and then you're going to want to place a piece of glass up like that, and then you want to place a block on top of that redstone dust with redstone dust on top of that, and then a block there with a repeater just set to 2 ticks, and then you want to place another piece of glass on top of that with redstone dust on top of that, and then a block there beside that with a repeater set to 4 ticks, running into a block with redstone dust on top of that, and you just want to run that across until this last block where you want to place a repeater set to 2 ticks with running into a block with redstone dust on top of that top sticky piston, and then you want to place a piece of glass there with a repeater just set to 1 tick, running into a block, and then below that you want to place a block with redstone dust and not delete that sticky piston, and then a thing of redstone dust, like a block one to the side and then one down with a piece of redstone dust. Then you're going to place a block beside that bottom sticky piston with a repeater just set to 1 tick, and then a block beside that bottom sticky piston on the other side, and then a block, 1 block down from there, and then with a repeater just set to 2 ticks. And as you can see, if we just go over here and flip that lever, get the nice spiral 3x3 piston door. So guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe. Remember to keep God #1 all the time. Have a safe and fantastic rest of your day. Peace out.